They said we never make it on our own, but we're hustling and grinding, so we're proving them all wrong. Every day we're coming closer than we ever could have known, and we don't listen to haters cause we live and die alone. They never understand the struggle that we've done. We've been in a tunnel of our brain for way too long. We gon' make it out together on our own. There's no stopping the inevitable once it has all grown.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another live stream, watching and scoring classic fights with myself, Jim. I'm your host. On the call with us is Josh over at 86 Boxing and Alex Big Fish Vega. I'm going to bring that in a moment. There's some instructions into how you can join in the stream later, and how you can join in scoring along with us. This week we're going to be watching one of the best fights of the last couple of years. It's Vargas versus Salido. It was a fight of the year back in 2016. It was the anniversary of it this week, I think, just gone. So we're going to be covering that in a little while. First of all, we're going to bring in my co-hosts while we discuss the boxing events of the recent weeks since our last live stream a couple of weeks ago. So it's nice to have you back. Alex, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing well. It's nice to be back, and I look forward to looking at this fight as well.
Yeah, should be good. Should be good. We've also got Josh with us. How are you doing, mate? Are you with us, Josh? Hello.
Hey, happy to be here. Shout out to Alex. Happy to be here and involved in this particular fight because, as we know, this is one of the most action-packed fights we've had here over the last couple of decades. So excited about it.
Cool, man. It's great for you to be here as well. I know you just come off your own stream, so that's great. And shout out to people that have come along and joined us from 86 Boxing. That's great to have you on board, and feel free to get involved. And yeah, it's great to have you here. So I think we might as well get started with a bit of a recap of recent weeks. What's been happening since we last did a live stream, which was 2 weeks back. So since then we've had last weekend, Saturday the 28th. It was a bit of a quiet weekend. It was the weekend of Davis versus Romero. That was the big fight. It went pretty much as expected for me for the most part anyway. Gervonta Davis got the win over Romero. Eventually he got the stoppage. Alex, did you catch the fight? What was your verdict?
Most definitely did catch that fight. I mean, all the press conference and the weigh-in drama, it definitely made sure that you wanted to tune in. The fight, actually, I was very impressed with how disciplined Rolly was. He stood behind the jab, and a lot of people were anticipating that he was going to just kind of try to brawl it, make it a brawl, make it nasty, ugly. And there was times where he did, but I was very impressed that he was trying to work behind that jab. But Davis, man, he took his time, used his legs to find his openings, get his timing, and found the right shot, and Rolly had a nice little nap in there. So it was a great performance by Davis once again.
Yeah, it was. Josh, did you catch the fight, mate? What did you think?
Yes, I did. I kind of share the same sentiments. One of the things that impressed me was how patient Tank was as he went about the fight, and Rolly as well. I thought that Tank would win this. I thought he would probably ice Rolly early. I was thinking probably about a fourth round, but I didn't think it would be that competitive, and it turned out to be. So both of them showed some poise in there, and I do like how Tank ultimately set up his win because he used that patience to kind of lure him in, and hey, he caught Rolly slipping, as they say, and a victory for him. So I think this just opens up the 135-pound division in a way that it might be the hottest division in boxing right now.
Yeah, and I think we'll come on to that a little bit later when we're discussing, obviously, this weekend's fights as well. Also on the other card to that, just moving along, we've got quite a bit to cover. So Erisland Lava got the stoppage win over Gary O'Sullivan. I believe that was a stoppage a little bit later on. I thought that this one was possibly a bit closer, on at least on paper. But I think we all predicted that Lara would have got that job done, and he did. What were your thoughts on that performance, Josh?
Yeah, I think Lara at 39 years of age, I think he's still very much skillful, and he looked very good in this fight. Just thinking about his age and just kind of him having a little less activity. He's been a guy that didn't have a ton of fights each year or anything, but even at this age, you can just tell he's on top of his game from a skill standpoint. And Spike O'Sullivan, he's one of those guys that is a solid fighter in terms of he's going to come in offensively, doesn't have much on the defensive side, but he'll do what he can to try and test you. So I always felt that Lara was going to get the victory, and it happened a little bit earlier than maybe I expected and maybe many others expected in terms of him being able to stop him when he did. But solid performance from Lara, so it makes it interesting as far as where he goes from here.
Yeah, true. I got anything to add there, Alex?
Wasn't sure what to expect with Lara not being able to use his legs as much, but it was a one-sided fight. I remember, I think in the 7th round, he dropped him Lara dropped O'Sullivan in the 4th, and in the 7th round, I remember he hit him with a shot, and you could see O'Sullivan looked like he was out of it. So at the start of the 8th round wasn't a shock when they ended it. So I'm glad they did stop it, and would like to see where Lara goes from here. Would there be a full champion at 160, or there was talks about him trying to do a catch weight with Danny Garcia until they announced his upcoming fight, I believe, with oh my gosh, just left my mind, Jose Benavidez. But yeah, would like to see what they do with Lara from here.
Yeah, cool. And then the other fight on there that we briefly spoke about was Jesus Ramos. He got the win, unanimous decision over Luke Santamaria. I didn't catch this one, so how did he look? I remember Alex, he kind of gave him a little bit of hype in our last discussion. Did he look as good as they say he does?
So if you are able to catch any of the highlights of the fight, you see Ramos is a pretty big 154 pounder. It's hard to look at him and say that's a 21-year-old. I was unimpressed, actually. I didn't really see him set up much shots, and Santamaria was coming up from welterweight to junior middleweight. I think in the beginning, Santamaria was impressive with him using his legs. He was boxing, counterpunching. However, as the fight went on, Ramos's size and his volume, he was going to the body and working from there, was able to secure him that win. I can't remember what the scorecards read. I actually scored it a draw, but they did give Ramos a comfortable win in this matchup.
Okay. Yeah, the scorecards there were 98-92 and 2 times 97-93, so it kind of looks fairly comfortable on paper. Okay, so before we move on to discussing the events of last night, just a quick shout out to Rodolfo Rivera in the chat. It's good to have you on board. I know we've got quite a few other people viewing, so it'd be great if you wanted to get involved in the live scoring that's going to be coming up very shortly. There's some instructions in the description and on the screen, and I think I put the right URL up there now. It wasn't before. And you've also got the code to access our group, but I will talk you through that as we're getting set up for the fight soon. So yeah, this weekend then, Saturday the 4th, in the UK and Wales, we had Kenichi Ogawa of Japan, the champion. I can't remember which strap specifically he held. He was facing Joe Cordina in what was, I thought, probably a really tough test for Cordina. bit unsure whether he would have been able to get the win, and Ogawa has been kind of proven at a high level. And I don't think anybody expected what happened in that second round. He found the absolute perfect shot, flush on the chin. Ogawa was down and out, no chance of getting up or continuing. So it was an impressive performance in that regard, and somewhat out of the blue, I guess. I can't remember going into the fight whether Cordina might have been a slight favourite on the betting, just about. I know it was quite an even fight. But yeah, Josh, did you manage to catch this one? What did you think?
Right. This is in reference to Cordina Ogawa.
Yeah,
right?
sorry.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I thought it was, Cordina arrived in a major way. I thought it would be a very good fight stylistically, just given how each fighter, given each fighter's makeup, because Ogawa is one of those guys. He's going to come forward, he's going to be throwing punches, and he's going to take shots to get off his shots. And Cordina, we know he's a very skilled Olympian, and he has looked good just on his trajectory as he's come up as a prospect, one of the hottest prospects. And then, of course, he just didn't have that name. Now, Ogawa having won a belt and them two matching up, I thought it would just be an excellent clash. And what it definitely showed is that Cordina, man, he's one super solid and just very instinctive boxer. The way he caught Ogawa with the punch that he did, just kind of lured him in with the feint. And I know you mentioned they worked on it in camp, but that's one of the best knockouts of the year so far. Very beautiful how he set that up and sent Ogawa down and out. And this opens up the division again, because, man, Cordina, he arrived in a major moment. He was able to practically sell out the arena there where they were at in Wales. And I think that this is going to help push Wales again as being a continued hotbed in the sport. So great performance by Cordina.
Yeah, it was. Alex, did you manage to catch this one?
I did. Just to add a little, it was the IBF strap for there, and right away you could see Cordina had that Olympic pedigree. Just the way he moved around. I actually gave that first round to Ogawa. I feel like he was countering really well.
Yeah.
But Cordina, man, he did that feint to the body and unleashed that right hand, and that is definitely one of the KOs of the year candidates. So I was glad to catch that, and good. Will Cordina fight Shakur next? That is, I think, the big question, and I look forward to seeing the possibility.
That'd be quite a step, wouldn't it, to take? He just got the title, and then to go up against Shaq is a big ask. It was quite interesting thinking how Zelfa Barrett, who was on the main co-feature on the undercard, he got the win over Korbanov, who Joe Cordina struggled against just, I think it was last year. So it was quite interesting after that performance. Barrett obviously was getting high praise, and he did really well. And then thinking, how's Cordina now going to do against Ogawa if he struggled against Korbanov? I know it doesn't always work that way, but that was a big question mark heading into that fight. And but I think he just surprised everyone when he found that shot in the second round. And I think that could be quite a good domestic fight, Cordina versus Barrett, because Barrett, after he suffered a loss quite a few years ago, now he's put together a string of wins and he's getting himself back up into contention, and he's a pretty decent boxer. That could be quite a good domestic fight, but whether Cordina does want to look to them bigger name fights, I know there's a couple of big names at the top of that division which will be good tests for him. There's Shakur, and there's also Valdez as well. A couple of those decent names up at the top, but there's plenty of fights for both of them out there if they don't face off against each other. So it'll be quite interesting to see where both of them go. What did you catch the Barrett fight, Josh, on the undercard for that? What did you think of that performance?
Yes, I did catch it. I gotta say that I thought it was okay performance as far as Barrett was able to do what he needed to do and thoroughly kind of just outbox and defeat his opponent. But as far as excitement was concerned, it definitely wasn't one of those fights that I will remember or will go back and watch or anything of that nature. But much respect to Zelfa Barrett. I think he showed that he's definitely on that European level, and he'll compete on that world level. So I think it's going to take an opponent to, really bring it out of him, and that's what he'll get at that world stage. But good win for him. I'm happy about him in the story, and I thought he looked good. He did what he had to do.
Cool, yeah. Alex, your thoughts on Zelfa Barrett's performance?
Unfortunately, I did not catch that whole fight. I did see the last couple rounds, and I saw that Barrett was in control.
Yeah, he was. He did really well. It was a good performance. Not fair enough. We can carry on then. That was over in the UK on the Saturday last night, and then over into America. Then we had Stephen Fulton versus Daniel Roman. Alex, we'll come to you first on this one. Give us your thoughts on the performance and our predictions from last time.
Yes, so I did have a prediction. I thought Daniel Roman was going to be the smarter fighter and with his technical ability, be able to control Fulton, and that just was not the case at all. Fulton moved gracefully in there. His jab was so fast. Whenever he wanted to, he could counter Daniel Roman. He could be first, and he could take the fight to wherever he wanted. If he wanted to push Danny back, if he wanted to bring him in for the counter, it was quite a performance, and definitely am very interested to see what Fulton does from here.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely one to keep an eye on. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than it was, and Roman had a good chance. I've always liked watching Roman when he's fighting. He's a nice boxer, but he was just outmatched, wasn't he? This time he was too good for him, Fulton. It'd still be interesting to see where both of them go, and the next fight's coming up. I think all of us kind of only caught maybe 3/4 of that fight, or 2/3, because obviously we're all keeping an eye on what was going on over in Australia. Was that the case for you, Josh? Did you catch this fight? What did you make of the performance that you saw?
Yeah, I was watching it as like the primary fight on my television up until probably about the 9th round. Then I switched it to the computer as I started the Haney fight, and I share the same sentiments that Alex had mentioned as well. As far as Fulton, he just looked good. He's just getting better, and you can tell he's been really working on his game, because he was able to take out Rahman and really, you could say, dominated that fight in moments just with his movement. He was very fleet of foot in there, and Rahman, he had him just kind of pressing forward, unable to really get his feet set to land anything, and I think that was part of the problem. But I have to give Fulton props, because he's taken on some interesting styles here, because that's a very different style than, say, Brandon Figueroa, and the way he was able to get that win, now picking up this over Danny Roman. He seems to be adapting well towards any style, so definitely the future is bright for him, and if he continues to improve, he's going to make for some even bigger fights here as we move forward.
Yeah, definitely. So quickly on the undercard to that, we saw David Morrell beat Calvin Henderson. I know that was early, I can't remember what round, possibly 4. Good performance again, as another one that's had a few fights that he looks really good, and I think he's Cuban, so another Cuban to look out for. Josh, did you catch this one as well? I guess you did, if that was the main one you were watching up until that point.
Yes, David Morrell, I was saying this earlier, that I think that he is one of these guys who, even just being 7 fights in, I think he's ready for the tops of the division. I know some people feel differently about that because of the fact that he's still young and still has room to improve and all that stuff, but he's going to be game for a David Benavidez if he's in there with him. And some probably don't think he's ready for a Canelo, but I think he's going to be game for a Canelo if he's in there with him. You can see he has wrinkles to his game, and I think that if he continues to improve, and we'll see what happens as far as where Canelo tends to stick around or where Benavidez ultimately ends up going. But I think I could see him being the man at 168 pounds, all things considered. So great performance by him. I thought the fight could have been stopped around earlier than it did, but he showed up in a major way each time he's been on television, and he's shown that he's the type of fighter that he will deliver the action, because he could have taken it easier in there with the guy who was more defensive. He could have boxed his way through, but he was really pushing for that knockout, and he got it. He got that stoppage. So big ups to David Morrell.
Yeah, it did. Alex, I know you're having a couple of internet issues, possibly. Did you manage to catch this fight, or did you make a Morrell?
Most definitely. David Morrell has been on my radar for past couple years. I was really trying to focus on this fight because he was speaking about facing David Benavidez. I have to admit I'm a little let down because of the way he chose this fight, how to fight it. I was hoping to see more of a boxer first mentality. He attempted to run through Henderson, and that is what he did. I just would like to see more preparation for a high level fight, working more into your shots instead of forcing them. But at the end of the day, he got the job done and pulled out another victory by KO.
Yeah, and there's not much more you can do than that, I guess. So, yeah, great performance. All right, let's keep moving things along. We got a lot to go for this weekend just gone, man. So eventually we are down in Australia, and I think that's what it felt like to a lot of the viewers, because I'm sure that there were parts of the broadcast where they were going on for hours without any actual boxing action down there, which is a bit weird. But we got there in the end. We got Kambosos Jr. ultimately outclassed by Devin Haney. This went pretty much exactly as I expected it to go. I know a lot of people thought Kambosos had a good chance and a good shot, and he had a lot of leverage behind him, and after the last victory, especially, and being back in home in Australia. But Devin Haney's just a slick fighter, a slick boxer. He was too good. It was an impressive performance, and he walked away with the titles quite handily. What did you make of the performance, Josh?
I thought it was a great performance for Haney. I thought it was his best performance thus far in his career relative to, the stakes that were on the line here in this particular fight. He used his skill set and what worked best for him as far as how he's been able to pick up victories and show his separation from the pack as far as, the rest of the fighters outside of those that are the elite fighters. So I view him on that level for sure here at 23 years of age, and I feel like he still has room to improve. He's not a powerful guy, but as far as the fundamental stuff is concerned, he's shown that, he's on the top level and he'll be a problem for anyone. And I think this was a good performance for him by virtue of him doing it in enemy territory where you never know if the cards are going to go on your side, but he showed it the right way. He went about it in dominant fashion, and it'll be interesting to see how this rematch goes, or if this rematch is going to actually happen, because there will be a lot of things that Kambosos will have to change up if he expects to get a victory. Yeah,
I agree. Alex, hopefully you're still okay there. What did you make of the performance?
So I knew what Devin Haney's strengths were and Kambosos' weaknesses were, and I believe they showed what we saw on ESPN here in the States. I'm not sure where it was in other places, but it was the jab, the speed, the footwork, the reflexes were on full display from Haney. It was just too much for Kambosos. No matter what he tried, whether sometimes it looked like he wasn't trying to do too much, it didn't matter. He looked frustrated in there, and Haney looked very comfortable. I never saw Haney really bothered by anything. When he wanted the fight to stay at a distance, it stood there, and when Kambosos closed that distance, or if Haney threw a right hand that had him in possible danger, he held. So he neutralized anything Kambosos to do. It was a tremendous performance. I hope we do not get a rematch, and if we do, I'd expect the same or even more domination from Devin Haney, the new undisputed champion of the lightweight division.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in seeing a rematch, but I guess we'll just have to see what happens there. Can't see any other ending, to be honest. I think Haney wins every single time in the same manner. I guess we can just briefly gloss over the undercard results that were on there. There was Lucas Brown scoring a huge upset, I think. And I think it was the first round, wasn't it? A stoppage of Junior Fa. Did any of you catch this? Go for it, Josh.
Yeah. I thought that was definitely a heck of a knockout. I wasn't expecting it, especially the way Fa was looking on his feet, and of course being, really just saw Fa when he took on Joseph Parker. But you can tell that he can move well for his size, being 6'5", 260 plus. And I thought that would be a problem for Brown, who was going to in all likelihood fly it forward, but Fa got caught with a punch over the top of his jab, and it was a big right hand that pretty much ended his night. I thought it should have been stopped on that first knockdown, just given how he looked there on the ground. But he got up, took another shot, and it was over. So excellent work by Lucas Brown. I mean, he was able to come in, do this work here in 2 minutes, and I thought it was a boost for him. And he may get another big money fight against some heavyweight, maybe one of these up and coming guys or something. But good stuff from him.
Yeah, not really expected. I recall just seeing Brown get beat up so many times in recent years. I kind of felt sorry for him every time he was in with someone that was too good for him. But, fair enough, he got the job done there. And like you say, maybe he'll get another payday. Did you see that one, Alex, at all? Or a replay of it? You are muted if you are trying to speak. Alex might.
I know he mentioned he had run into a couple of internet issues.
Yeah, he might be back. He might be back here.
Oh, you were asking about the Lucas Brown fight?
Yes, we are. Sorry.
So wasn't sure exactly what to expect. Lucas Brown, like you said, has been around for a while. Junior Fa, the only time we seen him on the big stage was against Joe Parker.
Yeah.
So yeah, to see that first round knockout by Lucas Brown, he lived up to his nickname, Big Daddy. So hopefully, if he wants to continue getting these type of opportunities, he can still perform on that level.
Yeah, agreed. I guess he's earned another payday at least. And then the other fight on there, the main undercard fight, I think, was Jason Maloney getting the stoppage win over Aston Palik. I can't pronounce that surname. I'm gonna have to stop at that point. I think that was fairly early from what I recall. I was only keeping a bit of an eye on that. Can't quite see where the stoppage occurred on that at the moment. But yeah, that was the other result on that card. So I think that wraps up the happenings of recent weeks since we last spoke. So that took a while, but there was quite a lot to get through, so that's the reason. So let's move along to our scoring section and our watch along, because we've got a great fight to watch tonight and I'm looking forward to it. I don't recall watching it live at the time, and I'm not sure if I watched it like in a replay or anything like that, so I'm really looking forward to seeing this one myself as if it was the first time I watched it. I know, Alex, you've got a bit of a introduction about the fight for us while I get us all set up.
Yes. So we got Francisco Vargas, nicknamed El Bandido. He was a 2008 Mexican Olympian, which was in Beijing, China, which he was participating in the lightweight division, 60 kilos. He actually, in the fight previous, won the WBC Super Featherweight title against Takashi Miura, which was a come-from-behind 9th round TKO on the Canelo Cotto card. That fight was named Fight of the Year in 2015 by many publications such as Sports Illustrated, ESPN, USA Today. So he came in undefeated, 23-0 with one draw, and he was 2-0 against former and current champions at the time. We have Orlando Salido. If anyone doesn't know his story, he started off 8-6-1 actually had a win over Robert Guerrero for the IBF featherweight title, which was overturned due to testing positive for steroids. That was a little controversial because he had a follow-up test that proved his innocence. However, they kept the title away from him. He was 8-2-1 his last 11 fights. And also he had 2 memorable KOs against Juan Manuel Lopez, which was hurtful to me personally. And he also handed Lomachenko his first pro loss. Also, was coming off of 2 back-to-back fights with Rocky Martinez. The first one was a loss, and the second one was a draw, which many people believe he may have pulled out.
All right, that's great stuff. Thank you for the intro. So, are you still with us, Josh? Are you ready to go? We think we've got our scorecards ready. Just for people cool, man, great stuff. For those watching along, there were some instructions at the start of the video of how you can join in if you also wanted to score and you wanted to join our group as well. So if you want to find this fight, it is within the controversial fight section. That's where you can find the scorecard. There's also an embedded video on there. And if you wanted to join our group, you need to be a registered member of Fight Night Scores. You go to the group section once you've registered and logged in. And then you can access our group by entering the code 62CA44 and pressing enter. You'll join the group there, and you'll be able to see our scorecards along with your scorecards and anyone else's, and you'll be able to do side-by-side comparisons, see our average scorecard between all of us, and round-by-round analysis as well. So with that all said, I think we are all ready. Let's get this show on the road, because this is about an hour long, this video, but maybe a bit less. Just turn the volume down a little bit.
Yeah, this fight was June 4th, 2016 at what we call here the Punch Bowl, the Stubhope Center in Carson, California. Place of many, many great battles.
And that was where Fulton was last night? Or am I making that up?
I did not. No, they were in the Armory in Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota, weren't they? Okay, well, let's get going.
Yeah, Romero Charlo versus Castaño was here.
Ah, right, yes. Yes. Okay. So, bit of a cagey opening. I guess they're both just feeling each other out a little bit.
Vargas did get dropped in his last fight, but like I said, it was a come from behind victory. It was a very tremendous fight on that Cotto versus Canelo card.
Okay.
Yeah, I was always a fan of Salido. I thought he brought it every time, and I share the same sentiments as you, Alex, in terms of when Salido defeated Juanma Lopez. It ruined what had the potential to be one of the greatest action fights we've seen in many years in Juanma versus Gamboa. So I was highly disappointed we never got to see that fight.
Most definitely.
That could have been really good. Yeah, back then as well. Was Salido into journeyman territory at this stage, or is it just that he had a record against good caliber fighters?
Well, recently it seemed that he was falling off a little bit from that top 10 maybe.
Yeah.
Like I said, he was coming off of 2 hard fights with Rocky. But this was definitely a fight against another champion. So I guess it was kind of a test to see where he's at.
Yeah. After a bit of a quiet opening minute and a half or so, they've opened up a bit here now. I think Vargas is getting the better of it so far. I think about 20 seconds ago, Salido kind of staggered slightly back after a straight right, I think it was. But Vargas is definitely bringing it.
Indeed, this set the tone for the rest of the fight.
The referee just think that was the end of the round then and accidentally jumped in, possibly.
That StubHub energy, the punch bowl. It's tough to hear out there.
Ring it louder, please. No, we've got an advert. Hopefully I'll be able to skip through this.
The new best way to make money online that nobody's talking about is something you've never heard of before. It's
Okay, no worries.
The clapper for 10 seconds. Okay, making sure his adrenaline is pumping just like everybody else's.
You know, when it was quiet, it seemed Vargas was working off the jab. And then when it wasn't quiet, it seemed Vargas was landing the better punches in that round.
Right, don't forget to enter your scores, because I just nearly did. I just remembered that's what we're actually doing. And anyone else that's watching along, enter your scorecards as well.
You know, it's funny, you know, most times when a guy has a bad record, you know, they say he's a cab driver. Well, Salido was an actual Uber driver, you know, while he was, you know, still trying to fight professional. So, but that is no regular Uber driver.
No. Blows away that stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
Bandido in black. What's he have to do to win this? He needs to use his height and his reach. He needs to land power shots from the outside. He needs to avoid clinches and not let Orlando Salido in close. Because if he does, his body's going to get banged up, but that forehead is going to clash with his face. CD Salido. CD is a nickname of a Yaqui warrior, a fighter, guerrero, they say in Spanish. Yaqui Indians in Obregón, Sonora, Mexico, in the northern part of the state. Vargas from the capital, Mexico City.
Quite a few shots landed, but it looks like they're all kind of on the arms and not quite flush, but now they're opening up a bit more.
And Vargas looks very comfortable in there. You know, it's, you know, from distance, inside.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to matter. And Salido just seems a little slow.
Yeah, you're used to seeing Salido apply the pressure, but he's getting the pressure applied to him in this one for sure.
Agreed. Oh, nice turn. You see the fight taking place here, you would think that definitely favors Vargas, the Olympian, the longer, taller man.
I think that was just like a more of a balance issue, or did he catch him with something? It's quite hard to tell. Oh, nice back and forward, nice movement.
This is the kind of fight people were expecting immediately. They're expecting the action. This is why people spent some money to come to the StubHub Center, because they knew they wanted to even work this fight for free at times to see this one. Didn't take long. These guys did not need to warm to the slugfest.
So heading towards the last 30 seconds. Quite a difficult round to score, really, isn't it? So far.
I kind of just favor Vargas's coming forward and activity.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Salido is, when he is throwing combinations, it looks like a lot of good work. See it right there. Evidence of that.
Some good body work. But yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. What Vargas has shown has looked better. He's trying to force some action, and then he just kind of held off there towards the end.
But Salido did finish strong.
So we'll go 4 rounds, and And then we'll take a pause and just have a look at what our scores are looking like.
Oh, Lomachenko's in the crowd. If Salido were to win this fight, there was talks of a rematch, unification.
Maybe looking at the winner of this fight as a potential opponent.
No, there you go. See, announcer just said that.
Nicely verified. Good information.
Ambitious young man from
All right,
This fight actually almost didn't happen. Vargas did fail a drug test for clenbuterol, which is what Canelo had in his test as well. But the teams got together and concluded that it must have been an accident from tainted meat, and they just updated Francisco's testing.
Okay.
That was a nice combo.
Yes, sure was. I mean, he went down and up. It looked like he was close to landing clean on most of them.
right across the Arizona border. Both guys look like they're in magnificent shape. Of course, Salido's been 12-round distance so many times in tough fights, so he's
Salido seems to have a little more on his shots now.
a lot of metal.
Ooh.
His title-winning victory against Morrell. So you know he's the kind of guy. He's not a front runner.
You can tell he's just trying, and he just to get into that inside position, get close, work the body,
Nice overhand right from Salido, followed by a left to the body.
head down, and wade forward.
On that combination that he threw about 10 seconds ago, he threw a delayed body shot. I think that was beautifully thrown. One of those shots that you just don't expect, and you just hope it hits, and hopefully the guy crumbles.
Just throwing a few low shots there. It looked a little bit low, but
No, but Vargas was put into the right fighters to advance him and for him to grow and for him to learn.
into the
Yeah, if
second
you-
half of the round.
If you recall, Salido versus Lomachenko, there was quite a few low shots in that bout. How a point wasn't taken is beyond me.
Yeah, that was a gutsy fight for Lomachenko to take that early on in his career.
Second fight.
Two-division title holder from Puerto Rico. Never the same after Salido got done with him.
Salido knocked him out in 2011, and the rematch knocked him out in 2012.
Yeah,
Both times in Puerto Rico.
had to get off the canvas for the rematch victory.
Just feel like this round is still up in the air.
Yeah, it is. I'm just trying to decide who I'm favouring, and Salido's landed some good stuff there, body shots, and then that right straight. Oh, now he's coming
Yes.
forward.
Wow.
Definitely some good work by Salido.
Oh, some nice evading work there, though. This is good stuff.
Between Francisco Vargas and Orlando Salido.
I mean,
Nice.
you could imagine both those guys would be pissing blood, and we're just going into round 4.
Oh man, adverts again. Hopefully I won't see him anymore. I'll have to sign in with my other account next time because I've got premium. I don't have to be delayed with ads.
No worries. It's an ad is like us in the corner. We get to get a little sip of water. That red bandana, so common with Mexican fighters. I mean, of course, it relates most to Julio Cesar Chavez.
All right, round 4. So I think the fight definitely started to heat up a little bit there in that second half of round 3. I think they've felt each other out and they're ready to go at it.
Most definitely. Oof.
Yeah, these both of these fighters understand the stakes, and as you were mentioning earlier, Alex, that crowd, there has to be something in the mix there. Hearing them, that's going to make them battle even more.
There's about 8,000 people in there, and that is a sports facility. That is a tennis stadium they're at.
Right.
Oh man, this is just back and forth.
Just stood there trading in a phone box, as they say.
You feel if Vargas just takes a step back and just works off that jab, he'd have a big advantage, but it seems that is just not in the DNA.
Yeah.
Well, what I pointed out is in his last fight, I thought he won the title. Most people thought he beat Rocky Martinez. So obviously he's not spent.
You're not going to be a main event fighter if you're spent.
No.
This round's already halfway through the round. Felt like about 10 seconds.
Another guy's going to bring it. This is a huge opportunity.
Feels like both guys landed 20 punches in this round already.
Vargas, we are one of them, of taking the first title defense against a guy like Salido.
Most guys have an easy first title defense. That's supposed to be your gimme. This is not a gimme.
You're supposed to enjoy it for a little bit, right?
And anybody who thought that this was going to be a gimme for Vargas, you don't
Yeah.
know
True.
boxing is well.
Tough championship fight, now tough first defense. Golden Boy doesn't seem to like Francisco Vargas very much.
He has it. He's in the black trunks. Minute of the fourth round.
Wow, that was a nasty hook by Salido.
Yeah, nice work. Very nice.
May not have the power he used to, but he will be there.
He's heavy-handed, and he makes up for any lack of power with sheer volume.
Oh, good one.
Both
Clubbing
just
right
digging
hand.
in.
Yeah.
It's that pure action right here.
I mean, they're both thrown, but I think for me, Salido's landing what looked to be the more telling blows.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So walking him forward, it's another nice shot there. Man.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Beautiful stuff.
Nothing like experiencing a fight like this live. Everyone
Oh.
should have the opportunity, right?
Gosh. Yeah, that is such a treat.
I think we're going to be saying that quite a lot on these live scoring streams, to be fair. Okay, I've just taken a pause there. I'm just filling out my scorecard. And hopefully I'll be able to come to a screen where we can have a look at some side-by-side scores. Or maybe for this time we will do just our combined scorecard. No, we cannot do that. We'll do a side-by-side comparison. So, we've all scored it 38-38. Let's see if we can get some side-by-side comparisons going. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So I've just pulled up my scorecard alongside Alex's scorecard here. And as we can see, I think we've both gone with the same round score. So the first 2 rounds to Vargas, the second 2 rounds to Salido. And just some slight variations on the winning margins and the reason. So the first round we both had the same reason. Just a different interpretation of the winning margin. In the second round, we had the same winning margin but different reasons. In the third round, we had different winning margins and a different reason, but the same score. And in the fourth round, we had the same score and the same winning margin, just different reasons. So 2 rounds each. Very, very
Let me
similar.
tell you that round 4. I mean, I was thinking front foot as well. I was thinking significant punch. There was a multitude of reasons for that one.
Yeah, definitely. Well, my interpretation with the different reasons that are provided was that, well, yours kind of makes sense because both guys were throwing and landing, and it just so was that Salido's were the better, more effective shots. But on the other instance, since they were both landing kind of effective shots, I went that Salido's fact that he was the one pushing forward and Vargas was taking the back step. I guess that was my interpretation, if that makes sense.
No,
And I guess
most
that's
definitely does.
That's the good thing about the system. It gives you a few different options. So cool. We'll take a look at mine and Josh's card next time. After round 8, I think. So let's continue.
That works. We were all in agreement thus far.
So yours is the same as that, Josh. The first 2 to Vargas, second 2 to Salido, yeah?
Correct.
Nice. So unfortunately, I won't be able to do the combined scorecard because I've changed the settings so that we need more than 3 scores to be able to see that data. So I'll have to make amends to that bit ahead of the next live stream.
No worries at all.
Okay, nice starting shot.
Salido, he has that great poker face. But you can't tell if he's winning, if he's losing. When you do an interview with him, you don't know if he's happy, if he's sad. He's just...
Wow, I mean, the punch is just flowing from Salido.
You can tell he's in a good zone right now.
Oof.
He's definitely taken confidence from that last round, hasn't he?
There was a lot of sneaky little uppercuts to the body and to the head.
Yeah, they're fighting at an insane pace. It's like crazy. Like, can this hold up?
Mm-hmm.
I think Vargas has done good there, though, to keep Salido propped up there against the rope and firing back. Probably made Salido think about it a little bit more there. It's like psychological.
Once again, that sneaky uppercut from Salido. Think about Salido. If he doesn't want to be there, he'll throw something to make him not be there, whether it be below the belt, maybe a headbutt. You see him leading with the head a little bit.
Yeah. He's just landed a nice shot there. It looks like it's opened up a cut.
I believe that cut was from the first round.
Okay.
We may have missed it. I remember I did hear the referee point it out.
Okay. I'd not noticed it up until that point.
But it's definitely leaking now.
Yeah, maybe it just opened it a bit more then. So we're 2 minutes into the round. I think I'm edging towards Salido again.
Agreed. I'd hate to be an official judge. I tell you that.
Yeah, definitely tough and close. But I share the same sentiments. But certainly Vargas, man, he's just showing that warrior mentality.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. He's just trying to make that space, isn't he, and counter, but Salido's just being awkward.
And Vargas is a little bit wide on his shots as well.
Yeah.
Gosh. So look at that head, rubbing that head on his face. A true veteran doing whatever he can to give him an advantage.
Certainly, certainly.
Ah, man, that's tough.
chickens anymore.
It's got to be tough watching her husband go through this, though. Mike Rodriguez applying a lot of pressure. That nasty cut above the left eye. Francisco Vargas. There should be a sense of urgency.
Bet the feeling that, thinking that they're nearly done, but no. You're only at round 6, boys.
Elbow for space, right hand, eats the left. Caught that.
They're all landing.
Brutal exchanges here from both guys.
Sorry, boys. So frustrating.
Just needed that kitchen sink there, right? That's all you needed in that one?
Okay, away we go. Round 6. This is good stuff so far.
Almost definitely. Very entertaining.
Francisco Vargas is very quiet in nature.
Both of these guys have very replay watchable type fights that you can just throw on at any time you want to see some boxing.
Yeah, I agree.
I never heard him say anything. Even when he laughs, he just smiles. That's his way of laughing. No expression from him. Doesn't talk much. He said, but he's just a good-natured guy that enjoys the sport of boxing. No other sports does he watch. Doesn't partake in anything else. Grew up only.
I'm not sure what the rest are in there. Wasting a bit of time.
Ring belt around his waist, but he's gonna top him with Orlando Salido.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Wow.
through. Another one. Oh, he's sagged a bit there. Uppercut. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely hurt. You're going to have to put Salido down.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
He ain't going voluntarily. Oh, man. He's throwing back as well. Oh. Oh, beautiful.
He's either bat crazy. Oh, I was going to say he's either bat crazy or both, but obviously he's just crazy.
There you go. He's getting his head in there a bit, like you say, Alex. Still a minute to go. I bet they're feeling every second that.
Oh, wow. I was going to say the referee should have said something to Salido about using that rope. He's kind of squatting into it. Oh, told him to watch his head.
That's a nice little combination, that.
Nope, so wins him again.
Oh, man. That's a great round. 10 seconds to go. I think they're about spent. Jesus, still going. Right into the bell. You'd think, they'd just take a step back there and go, yeah, you know what, that's enough. But fair play. Fair play.
Yeah, good stuff right there. These are the type of fights that take a little something out of you just every single round, It's crazy.
Aye.
Wow.
was like he tried to catch that shot, and that did not work very well.
Salido coming back with 4-punch combination, punctuated by a left uppercut.
Vargas going in with the head there, maybe accidentally.
I don't know about you guys, but just watching those exchanges puts a grin on my face.
Definitely.
Better them than me is how I feel.
Well, yeah, I'm going to say more of a grimace.
But certainly, these guys are willing to put it on the line. I mean, you got to give them respect and props for that.
This is what we get paid for.
I'll keep you on your toes, Doug. You know, get you off that fence, baby.
You got to give the younger man and
I mean, you see that distance, and you see Salido he can't do anything. It's Vargas just pumps that jab out. He literally could control him.
Falling off. One of them's ready gone. One of the back's ready to go. But maybe that's how hard he's punching. Because Salido looked worn here in the 7th round. But did Vargas punch himself out in that 6th round?
That's a nice
Look at
jab.
that jab.
Yeah, beautiful.
Like I said, he's an Olympian.
Just can't help but get engaged. Oh, Jesus.
Ooh, big shots.
Big shots.
Wow.
But you know
Gets
what?
his head cocked back and says, "Okay, I'm coming forward."
Yeah. Fair play to him. Fair play to him. Oh.
This might have to be sort of a recovery round if Salido will allow him to have it after the effort that he put out in round 6.
Halfway through, and it's literally up for grabs.
Oh, man.
Oh, it didn't seem like much on that shot, but still.
All of Vargas's punches are very crisp. He's got excellent tight technique.
If there's any kind of boxing fan that was on the fence of who they're going for, I think Vargas is the one that they're starting to pull for because of the bigger shots that he's landing. And he's an exciting fighter. This is the first time you're seeing him because you heard about the Muir fight. You are finding something that you can root for.
Yeah, he's winning over fans with his heart. They see the blood on his face. They see the punches that he's taking to his head and his body and below the belt. And they see him battle on. They see him take the fight to the rugged veteran. And that's winning them over. I think maybe there were some guys who came in here chanting Salido, Salido that are now chanting Bandito, Bandito.
Hey, all you gotta do is skip the O in there. You all right? You want to be on that bench with that?
Down to the last 20 seconds, then. This is quite a tough one.
To say the least.
And obviously, there was them peach of shots in the first minute, but Salido's had some good success since then.
Oh boy, I think that might be a swing around there.
Yeah. You know, the fact that I referenced the first minute kind of tells me that was the eye-catching action of that round that stuck out for me. So, you know, I guess I'm going with Vargas. And skipping some ads at the same time. I'm multitasking.
Interesting, very interesting.
Salido cranks a right uppercut.
Yeah, it's at that point where the degrees of separation is very small, very thin. And, certain combinations or maybe even a certain punch can just change the trajectory of a round.
Yeah.
He's feeling a little bit better after that round. Scored that one for Salido.
What I give, but you earned it in your card.
Oh, he earned it.
Everything's being earned.
It was not a gift.
Okay, round 8.
Hard earned.
Francisco Vargas, 23-0-1 with 17 KOs. He's in the black trunks. CD Salido, 42-13-3 with 29 KOs. He's in the red trunks. CD Salido started his career in 1996.
If you notice, man, Salido's really keeping his legs close. Vargas definitely should have took advantage of that throughout the fight. It doesn't seem like he has once.
I was going to say there, it seemed like Vargas has started out getting back to his boxing, trying to create that distance. Salido's just trying to cut it down, isn't he?
Ah,
It's a nasty
Vargas is
cut.
like, it's not so bad.
Wow.
Okay.
He looks in disbelief, like, no, I'm fine. What are you talking about?
I'm good to go. I mean, the commentary, I think I heard the commentary say, oh, there was a headbutt, but I didn't see anything as intentional there. Maybe I just missed it.
Yeah, I think it's just the style of it. Toledo's going to come barreling in, and Vargas has no problem putting his head down to try and meet him punch for punch. So I think, yeah, he's just going to have some head swiping and rubbing
Again,
and clashing here and there.
Yeah, just happened again, pretty much.
I mean, he's warned him. He's given him 3 hard warnings. You would think that third one, if it really was, definitely got to take the point away.
Oh, big
shot.
swings. Oh, another
Vargas
one.
doesn't back down. He comes forward crazy.
That's 3 huge shots that Salido's just landed. Pretty sure Vargas kind of encouraged him to come on after the second one as well. They're just as crazy as each other.
Both of these fighters could take a big punch. And they're showing that tonight, and they can both land big punches. Body work.
Boxing nice there, Salido, isn't he? I mean, none of them were like really power shots, but just awkward enough to put Vargas off doing anything. Nice body work.
Yeah, it's just amazing because the pace hasn't slowed down. If anything, it's increased over the fight.
Yeah, there was moments in the 6th and 7th round where I was about to say, oh, they're looking maybe like they're a bit tired now, but then they just both unleash a load of shots.
Oh, looked a little bit low by Salido.
For me, that was pretty clear for Salido. Possibly his best round. And that was round 8, so I'll take a pause in a second and we'll have a look at mine and Josh's card.
Cool.
Yeah, I am interested to see what you guys have because I feel like there's definitely some close rounds here.
Alright, we'll just watch this bit of replay and then we'll take a pause.
Brutal shots right there.
Yeah, those 2 right hands there, that made that round.
Very nice stuff. Okay, so I've got the side-by-side scores up. So this is mine and Josh's card. I guess we can skip over the first 4. I mean, there's quite a lot of grey there, so I think we had the same scores only, but we just differed on the reasons and the winning margins. Only small variations, but they are differences. So we'll go from round 5. And again, we're all grey, so I think that means we've got the same score for each round, the same winner, just different percentages and different reasons. So that's pretty cool. I can't really remember what round 5 was, thinking back, but you know, I went on the front foot and controlled the action both for Salido. Interestingly, you get quite a wide margin for that one, round 5. But you also then gave the last round just gone a bigger margin, and I said that seemed like his best round so far. So that kind of adds up.
Yeah, I just favored the work that in I believe that fifth and maybe even that sixth, or I think it was the fifth. Just favored the work that Salido was doing, especially the body work, which of course the action is when we see those headshots. But man, he's digging into that body as well.
Yeah, he is. We both went quite big on Vargas on round 6, so that was the clear one where Salido sagged a bit and he was kind of in a bit of trouble, so that was my reason. And I guess that was the same shot that you identified as significant. I went with a significant shot for Vargas in the round 7, so that was the one which was pretty close. And I've probably done the wrong percentage there. It probably should have been 55-45, but that's fine. That was definitely the closest round of the fight, I think, from memory.
Yeah.
And then that last round, like I just said, Salido's best round, I think, so far. Was that about where you were as well, Alex?
I'm sorry, for which round?
Well, just kind of them that we've just covered. So Salido, Vargas, Salido, them last 4. Me and Josh scored them the same.
Yeah, round 7, I actually gave it to Salido. There was just one shot where he just had Vargas's head cocked back, just did it for me. So that is the one difference we have.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, very close, for sure.
All right, then. Let's continue. Round 9.
Final third of the fight.
These guys won't let me.
Exactly. Blood from the top of the nose of Vargas. He's already cut on the right eyebrow or the left eyebrow.
Vargas really working off that jab.
Headbutt early on.
There's been a lot of red crosses that has landed on that laceration and made it worse.
Both of the fighters with heavy body shots. Wonder how they're going to start taking a toll here as we go into the later rounds.
Nice jabs from Vargas. Good upper body movements from Vargas.
It's one of the things we ask other fighters about Siri Salido. It's just not much
Oh, nice right hand. Has Salido's head going up. Oh, another nice right hand.
that he has, especially these guys that sparred with him.
Just the volume, though. It's crazy. I mean, with all the wear and tear in your body, to have this style, to still be on the world-class level 20 years after you turn pro with this kind of style.
But does he know he has wear and tear on his body?
He doesn't believe in it. No. He just has the right mindset.
So we're halfway through round 9.
So he takes care of himself between fights.
Bit more even this one. I mean,
Doesn't blow up.
how do you separate them?
Yeah, neither want to give up ground, so that just makes it even more intense.
So it could be down to this last minute for someone to take it.
Yeah, Vargas has had a knack at times to be able to get Salido up against the ropes.
Ropes, yeah.
This is a real throwback fight, though. This is the kind of fight where Mexican fans used to...
Vargas just getting back to that jab and boxing. That's what he needs to do. Are the corner telling him this? Just avoid getting into a tear up.
Intense body shots right there from Salido.
All these great fighters in Mexico just go at it, just like these guys are going at it.
Here they are, the main event. StubHub Center in Carson, California, around the world. Bethel Duran and Doug Fisher enjoying it ringside. I know you are wherever you're watching it. Do appreciate it. From Mexico City, Salido. Mexico City, Vargas. Ciudad Obregón, Sonora, Mexico, Salido. Body work from Salido here. Tough one.
Oh, landed a nice one on the bell, but that was a tough round. Also, before we continue, I'll just come clean. I actually did misscore the earlier round where there was the significant punch that rocked back Vargas's head, not Salido's head, and I mixed them up. So I got the same as Alex. Just throwing that out there.
Good to go. Wow, that's right on the button right there.
Look at this. Bam. That was a little bit after that shot.
Yeah, it's got to be the best shot of the round. Probably the decider on that one. Yeah.
It's an interesting fight because there's really no setup to their punches for the most part. They're really just standing in range and throwing, it feels like.
Yeah. I mean, like you said before, Alex, that if he just took a few steps back and boxed at range, you'd think that Vargas could kind of quite easily rack up some scores.
Which he showed for, times of that last round. That's what he can do. Mix it up a little bit. And I felt like that last round was a clear round for him because of so.
Bit of a slip.
Oh, yeah, that was
Definitely
interesting there.
The back there now, centering, just in range, swinging. That's a nice combination.
Nice.
Drove Salido back for a little bit.
It's good work.
Yeah, he did not like something in there.
Yeah, Vargas is super sharp when he does get off those combinations.
Yeah, this is good. A good little bit of action for him. Oh, some nice little shots in there. Salido's got him there.
Warrior mentality, just battle back. Even when you're hurt, battle back more.
Yeah.
Well,
Little punch on.
yeah, he told him to let go of his arm, and right when he came, he let go of his arm. Oh man, trying to replay the beginning of that round in my head.
I think Vargas started off really well in that, and then they kind of both cancelled each other out in that last minute or so.
Yeah, agreed.
I like those combinations that I saw from Vargas. I thought they were super sharp, and clean.
I kind of slapped that right hand there, but
So we're going to the championship rounds, last two.
oh, wow, that right hand stopped him in his tracks.
Yeah, that was a big one, definitely.
So After 10, I've got it all even. 95, 95.
As do I.
5 rounds each.
I'm a little different. I have Vargas up 96, 94.
Yep.
Salido came out like he just had some hot sauce and has to get through the round to get some water.
And they're showing some great stamina here, aren't they now? Like round 11, they're still throwing like they're in the first couple of rounds. Great condition.
Definitely.
Oh, nice uppercuts coming in.
He wants that green belt. And I think he looked at Vargas and said, hey, this is a guy who stands and trades. That's the kind of fighter that I want. That's the kind of fighter I can impose my style.
That big right hand.
There you go. Let him fight. Let him fight. You don't got to take. You don't have to do anything, ref. Always find it interesting why refs do that. You know, when a guy gets behind his back, they always like check their gloves or something.
Yeah, no need.
Like, what does that have to do with that? Anything?
Oh, nice jab. This is another one when I went to the last minute, and I think this round's still up for grabs.
Agreed.
I think possibly just edging towards Vargas.
I was leaning a bit towards Salido.
Okay, that's interesting. I guess it's volume. You know, Salido's throwing a lot in, and Vargas is kind of picking off some of the nicer shots, I guess.
Into that body, which I think is a benefit to him, of course, but definitely close.
Yeah, body shots always seem to be, you know, not seen as significant as headshots.
Yeah, agreed. Oh, he's just sagged a bit there. I don't know whether that was a punch or he just got a bit tired towards the end.
Gosh, my head's spinning about that round. Last round. Super close fight.
Yeah. They just got to put it all on the line now, aren't they? Oh, man. So close. He's so close.
You feel bad. You're like, man, I just want to make both you guys winners.
Yeah, certainly.
So going into this last round, my winning margin percentage is 50.91% to 49.09%. I don't think it can be any closer to that. That just shows how close it's been throughout.
Most definitely.
I'd imagine both corners have said to both of them, you need to go out there and win the round.
Yeah, definitely. Too close for comfort.
Yeah,
Either way. They're complaining about the ref in the crowd. Let them fight at this point.
Trying to work behind the jab, operate from a distance.
Flash right there, Doug. Open up more on the right eyebrow of Vargas. His blood coming out of that right eye now.
Man, Salido's just relentless, isn't he? Vargas trying to step back and get back to some kind of boxing, and he just jumps forward, trying to attack the body. Just relentless. Oh,
What else?
that's a
Left
nice
hook by Salido.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, neither wants to give the other even the slightest of edges.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
You see Vargas. Yeah, Vargas just gave it to
Yeah.
Salido. Look at this. My God.
Yeah,
Jesus.
insane.
Left from Salido.
Oh, it's,
Sonora fighter doing all the work here as Vargas.
oh, that's great work. He's just not letting up at all. Salido. Oh,
Oh.
Jesus.
Insane. Let's
And
look at the
eats it
chin
like
on both
nothing.
these.
Yeah, exactly.
What the heck?
Man, that was an equalizer there, right there.
I felt like Salido was getting the better of
Yeah.
it, and then bam.
Bang, that just turned everything. Oh, that's another good shot.
I'm not one for those big puns or those crazy different words, but this is just old-fashioned fight. This is what it is. I can go Slobberknocker, Donnybrook, anything else you want. No, I don't go from
I think Salido's landing more of these,
Warriors going at it. A lot of respect
Yeah.
for him.
and he always landing the nicer ones in that first minute. It was just that big shot. Was that enough to sway the round?
Yeah, he's applying that pressure. He's like, no way I'm gonna let this round slip
Yeah.
away.
Landed big shots. Salido, 35 years old in the red. His face is red. 10 seconds to go in the fight. Two fighters who just gave
Oh
Look
my
at
God.
look at her face, just covered in blood.
Wow.
great show in Carson.
How do you even see anything's landing? They're just hitting each other.
Just
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's just crazy fight, man. Crazy.
That was some effort, that last round. Sheer amount of volume thrown and landed was insane. I think I'm confirmed. Okay then, so we don't need to do the comparison. I don't think we can just kind of read out our scores ahead of the judges' official ones. So, Josh, why don't you go first? How have you got it overall?
All right. So I finished with it being 114. I have a 49.75% margin for Vargas and a 51.25% margin for Salido.
All right. Okay.
But,
Interesting.
114.
Nice. So that's, I guess, them last two rounds might have pushed Salido percentage-wise just ahead. That's pretty cool. What about you, Alex? What did your final score come to?
I have 114, 6 rounds each. I had Vargas up 50.83% on the winning margin. He really pulled it out on my scorecard, winning the last 3 of the 4 to get that draw.
Okay. My final scorecard is 113 to 115, 5 rounds to 7 in favour of Salido, but the percentages are exactly 50-50.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. It really was that kind of fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, super close. I don't even remember the verdict, so this will be cool to see.
Yeah.
Who won the day? The fans.
Exactly. We don't see this kind of effort.
Oh man, cut on both sides.
Battle scars.
Yeah,
Look how bloody the mouthpiece
you know, he's been susceptible to cuts for sure.
I'm guessing this one might take a while for the judges to get the scores all added up and double checked.
Give us 2 good quotes. We'll get out of here. We don't need to sit around and deal with interviews with everybody.
And with those hard shots and headbutts, you got to give it to Vargas's cut, man.
Yeah, definitely. I find it remarkable that Vargas, he's fought here in 2022. He's had a fight, didn't
Mm.
work out for him, but it's crazy.
Applause for these two blood and guts warriors in the ring here tonight. A candidate for
That has to
Fight of
feel
the
good.
Year. Here are the score totals. Jury Cantu scores it 115-113 for Vargas. Lou Brett and Hubert Min score it 114-114, a majority draw. The champion keeps the title. This fight is a draw.
Wow.
I mean, that's fair. That is fair.
Yeah, certainly is. I mean, it's so close.
I mean, I guess if we were the three judges, that's how it would have been.
Yeah, it would have been a majority draw, It's just the slightest of margins, man. It can change everything. But yeah, hell of a fight. I guess that speaks to it just being an excellent style clash and matchup, Just a hell of a fight for them. They're made for each other.
Yeah, they never had a rematch, did they? Does anyone have any idea why that might have been? Or
Yeah, no rematch. Yeah, I can't recall. I was just about to say something and it slipped my mind why.
no problem. No problem.
Yeah, I think certainly Salido, he had been, further along as far as the amount of wars he'd been in, so he probably, was looking to continue to just do what he can and just
I know
close out
Vargas
his
went
career in the
for
right way.
Burchell next. And
Yeah,
got knocked out.
Yeah, I remember the thought was that it was that we would kind of get some additional fights out of the two because of that, but yeah, it just guess ultimately didn't work out.
Yeah.
Vargas did not have it easy.
Definitely not.
Okay then. Well, that was a fun fight to watch as usual. Well, as me and Alex were saying just before we came onto the show, that there's quite a few really good matches upcoming that we can pick from over the coming months, especially towards September and stuff. We try and make it an anniversary. So this was obviously the 6th anniversary, I think, of this fight on the 4th of June. That was yesterday. And that's how we try and pick the fights that we're going to score. So I'm sure there's loads of anniversaries of really good, close and interesting fights that we're going to cover in the future. So loads to look forward to in the future. And, well, I don't think many will be quite as good as that, because I believe that was a Fight of the Year winner, weren't it, for that year. So plenty to live up to in the future. So speaking of the future, let's have a quick look at the boxing schedule and see what's upcoming in the next couple of weeks before we probably do our next stream. So this Tuesday is Inoue and Donaire, the rematch over in Japan. They like to do their midweek fights, don't they, over there, which is a little bit off-putting. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good rematch considering how close the first fight was. When was that? Back in 2019.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at the scores that are on there. It was a unanimous decision. One of the scorecards was close. One of them was pretty wide, and the other one was midway through. Are you two looking forward to this? I'll start with you, Alex.
Definitely, since Donaire did lose to Inoue, he's taken on a champion, knocked him out, fought a young lion, and knocked him out as well. So he seems to be still on his game. Like you said, the other fight, it is a rematch. That was the ring fight of the year in 2019.
Yeah.
And these are the two best 118 pounders. So yeah, let's run it back. And I know it's going to be early in the morning here in the U.S. I think about 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, okay. I'll be working, but I might be able to find a stream and catch that one. Josh, give your thoughts.
Yeah, it's gonna be super early. I'm on the East Coast, and it's gonna be 5:30, I guess, when the show kicks off or starts or whatever. But I'm gonna definitely try and check it out. If I'm able to do so on my phone, depending on the situation, I would definitely do that, or either catch the replay. But I think these two guys are awesome as far as just how they match up with each other. Donaire, the way he's been able to change his style to adapt to being an older fighter, I just think that's brilliant of him, because he was the guy at one point that was the young gun, just knocking out opponents left and right, similar to what Inoue is doing right now. And it just was a beauty to see just the way the two of them matched up. And I thought that was deserving of the Fight of the Year when they met in that in that tournament, the World Boxing Super Series tournament final. And even just thinking about Donaire, I didn't think that he would be there at the end, and he did. And he's just going to show that he's still a very, very good older fighter, and this fight should deliver here as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think you're gonna make a quite a clear favourite. Obviously, Donaire's a few years older, but he keeps proving us wrong with his previous fights. The last couple of fights, he was probably expected to lose, at least one or two of them. So, my prediction would be that Inoue wins again. I'm probably going to go with another points decision, just because we know that Donaire is so seasoned and tough. So that's my prediction for this fight. What do you say, Alex? Give us a prediction.
If you look at Donaire, he's been taking off all the tough challenges. 4 of the last 5 opponents, I believe, have been undefeated. It's insane. But I think Inoue, since he signed with Top Rank, the last 3 fights have not really been top opposition, but I believe he's still on top of his game. I do expect him to win by decision, and a clear decision once again.
Okay, and what about you, Josh? Quick prediction.
Yeah, I lean the same way. Yeah, both of them, still just seem to be, certainly Inoue is on his game, but yeah, Donaire, he hasn't really slowed down, so I think they're going to make for a very interesting fight here. But I do think that Inoue is going to be major in this fight. I think he potentially stops him at some point in the later rounds, just because, since that time has passed, he just seems to be, so sharp and on his game, and I think that's going to make the difference, having that youth and his youth and his power and volume. I think is going to see him prevail. But shout out to Donaire for even being in this matchup once again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I wouldn't at all be surprised that if there was a stoppage, he's probably got something to prove as well, that he should have got the job done last time, so it might be out to try and stop him on this occasion. But yeah, definitely an interesting one.
So he was close in the last one with that body shot. Donaire, he showed a hell of guts. I guess you can say hella guts. Just getting up from that body shot that he took, man. That's a demon of a shot, and he got up and continued on.
Yeah, absolutely. So also on that card is, I believe, the younger brother, Takuma Inoue. He's facing Gakuya Furuhashi. I'm going to butcher these names. I shouldn't have even tried it. At 28-8, I guess a bit of a journeyman, possibly, just for him to go out there and look good on the same card as his brother. Not too sure about any of the others. Is there any more that you want to speak about on this one?
I have no knowledge of any of those other fighters, honestly.
No problem.
Yeah. Same here. I gotta be honest. I don't know them. I haven't seen any. At least by name, I don't know that I've seen any of them outside of Takuma. But I don't even know his opponent as far as what he'll bring to the table.
No problem. We are Western heavy, I guess, over here.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to next weekend then. It's not so much a busy weekend. I guess there's a couple of names in there. We'll start off with Trevor Bryan versus Daniel Dubois. I guess that one's heavyweight. Heavyweight always brings interest, and Daniel Dubois was a hot prospect. He probably still is, to be fair. He's only 24. Obviously, he lost out against Joe Joyce a couple of fights ago, and he's had a couple of wins since then. He's beat Bogdan Dinu and Joe Cusumano in the first round. He beat Dinu in the second round, so he's explosive. He's got loads of power. He's quite exciting to watch. Hopefully, he's learned a lot from that Joyce loss, and he's in again with another undefeated heavyweight in Trevor Bryan from the US. So give us your thoughts on this one, Josh. How do you see it going?
Well, I say only in boxing is Daniel Dubois about to potentially become a world heavyweight champion, and Joe Joyce is sitting on the sideline right now. It's crazy, right? But I think that Dubois is gonna stop Trevor Bryan, who miraculously somehow has a belt.
Yeah.
And eventually, I guess that'll set up Frank Warren for a rematch between Dubois and Joyce. I think that's where the roads would lead, but we'll see. So I heavily favor Dubois in this fight.
Okay, cool. Alex, what have you got to add to that?
Good news is that this is a fight in my area. Bad news is I will not be attending. Definitely don't rate Trevor Bryan very highly. I do like Dubois. I was favoring him in the Joe Joyce matchup, which unfortunately was stopped. And I expect him to stop Trevor Bryan somewhere in the mid rounds.
Okay, well, that's unanimous. I favour Dubois for this one. I think he's going to win and get himself back into contention. It'd be quite interesting to see how he goes. Interesting that Josh is angling for the kind of the Dubois-Joyce rematch, which I guess could come down the line. It'd be quite interesting to see what they do with Joe Joyce, because he seems to be lingering around. I know they're kind of expecting to face Joe Parker at some point. But yeah, we'll see where they go from there. I'm not too sure what else is on that undercard. Probably nothing of too much significance, so let's skip by that. So what else have we got next weekend? There is Jaime Munguia is also in action against, I believe he's James Kelly. He's from the UK. He's from my neck of the woods in Manchester, so that's pretty cool. I guess he's another Brit being sent over to America to get his ass kicked against Munguia to make it 40-0. Probably a nice stoppage. I mean, we need to see Munguia in with some of the top names, don't we, after this one? I guess it's a bit of a knockover. Give us your thoughts on Munguia, Alex.
Munguia, if anyone can recall, was due to step in for Canelo when he did fail for the clenbuterol. However, the commission would not approve it. Yes. He was get his shot against Saddam Ali and signed with Golden Boy, and we haven't seen him really with any true live in prime body since. I think Gabe Rosado is probably the best matchup. Not so the best probably victory besides that Saddam Ali championship win. If anyone can recall as well, he was in talks to fight somebody that we're going to speak about later, and unfortunately Golden Boy / The Zone put a block to that. Munguia is an exciting fighter. He should smash Jimmy Kelly, who's been TKO'd by Liam Smith and defeated by Dennis Hogan. Yeah,
and Munguia's beaten both of them. I was going to say Liam Smith wasn't too bad a win back in 2018.
Oh, that's right.
So that was a decent win for Munguia, but yeah, he's at least he's active and he's fighting semi-regularly, and he's keeping his nice long streak going. I think he's got one of the biggest winning records, hasn't he, currently? And the top names.
I thought the Torino Johnson win was pretty solid with the way he went about it, especially. That was turning into a pretty good fight. But I agree. And as far as this matchup, I don't expect Kelly to offer much. I watched the last one against Demetrius Ballard, who was a guy out of this area who was undefeated, but I felt that Munguia was going to get him out of there because he's not a super active fighter. But yeah, a lot of names have been thrown out there, potential matchups for Munguia, but it's a matter of getting pen to paper. So I definitely like to see him in with some of the top guys, and I think he would do fairly well because I like the work that has gone on with him being linked to El Terrible, Eric Morales, and I think that has helped kind of evolve his game a bit from where he started out. So I think he has the goods to be one of the top guys in the division, or to be that potential top guy in the division. It's just a matter of now him getting those matchups that truly put him in that place.
Yeah, who would you like to see him in there with, if that's not putting you too much on the spot, of those top names in that middleweight division?
Well, I want to see him take on. I probably would say Jamal Charlo is like the top one that I want to see. That seems like a very logical one, and I think it would make for a very interesting fight. Both of them are sizable. Munguia being a little bit bigger, and just given their style, we know that Jamal is going to come behind the jab, and Munguia, he shaped himself offensively. So I think that he just make for an interesting style clash. So I think that is probably the one that I would say I would like to see, and I think it would answer a lot of questions for both of them.
Yeah. Alex, have you got a preference for who Munguia faces? Anyone of interest to you?
No, definitely Jamal Charlo.
Yep.
Demetrius Andrade, he's been number one contender, been offered mandatory spot, and has turned it down multiple times. Triple G as well. The top guys. Like you said, Munguia has a nice style. Him and Eric Morales seem to be working well together. He's working off the jab, setting up his shots a lot more efficiently. So yeah, those top guys, definitely. It's beyond time, if you ask me.
Yeah, I really wouldn't mind him seeing him in against Chris Eubank Jr. I think that could be a great fight. Whether that would ever be made, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one for sure. Yeah, that would be. I'd probably favor Munguia, but I think it would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he doesn't seem all that keen to kind of take up the steps to those top guys, the Charlos and Golovkins, it's probably a good kind of next step before that, I'd imagine. Just whether it's feasible or not, who knows. Anyway, let's move on. Richard Riakporhe also in action next Saturday. He is a Londoner. I think he had a little bit of hype about him, but again, there's a few of the Brits. I guess the pandemic kind of slowed things down a bit, but he's kind of going along all right. He got a nice win against the Anjuma a few months ago. Stoppage in round 8. That was quite a good performance. I'm not too sure who is in against here. Fabio Turchi. Have you guys seen Riakporhe before? This is...
Unfortunately not.
No?
I know of him by name. I can't recall if I'd seen him, but I did see he had a win over Chris Smith, who I think looks pretty decent, especially in his last few fights. So I can't remember if I saw that or not, but I do like what Chris Smith has been offering up. So you guys have to win over him, and I think that's a pretty solid win because he's on a pretty nice trajectory as well. So, but outside of that, I don't recall anything from him.
Yeah, no worries. I think he's just kind of wants to keep a bit of an eye on, but he's 32 years old. I thought he was a bit younger than that, so he needs to get moving. He's a big cruiserweight. He's 6'5", so whether he eventually moves up to heavyweight, I don't really know, but he's definitely big for the weight class anyway. So yeah, I expect him to win that one, no problem, next weekend. I think it's more of a stay busy fight than anything else. So let's continue on to the following week, because we will probably catch up again after the fights on Saturday the 18th. So we've got Jamal Charlo in action against Selecki, sorry. That should be probably a kind of a keep busy fight more than anything, would you say, Alex?
most definitely. I mean, this matchup definitely should have been the Munguia matchup I was trying to allude to earlier.
Yep.
Selecki, a couple times has challenged for a championship belt. I believe against Andrade, faced Jacobs as well.
Yep.
I don't believe he's been stopped, so I would like to see Jamal get a stoppage here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he will, but definitely I want to see a dominant win, and hopefully this is just a small little, side note into a, big time fight.
Yeah, definitely. Would you go along with that, Josh? Anything else to add?
Yeah, same thing. I think that if he wants to make a true statement, Jamal Charlo that is, then he has to stop him. Otherwise, he's gonna be known at middleweight as just, a fighter who potentially could have, because it's long overdue for seeing a really top tier matchup. Even though the Revianchenko win I thought was a good one for him, but that's been his only claim to fame right now at middleweight.
Yep. Okay, well, I guess with the both fighting kind of relatively the same time, Charlo and Munguia should be the next step after they both get their wins. But we'll see on that. The undercard features Frank Martin versus Ricardo Nunes. Any thoughts on that one, Alex?
Yes, so Frank Martin, the Ghost, he has a few national championships as an amateur. Actually dropped Virgil Ortiz in the 2016 Golden Gloves World Champions. He's trained by Derek James, so he trains alongside Errol Spence, and is actually signed to Errol Spence Man Down Promotions. So he's a beautiful offensive fighter. I actually got to see him live on January 1st here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on the Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin undercard. So definitely someone to watch. And Ricardo Nunes, if anyone remembers, was Tank Davis's mandatory a couple years ago and got KO'd in 2.
Oh yeah.
But he can punch.
Okay, fights out of Panama. He's had a couple of wins back in Panama City since then. 21 wins by stoppage out of 23 wins. Sorry. Cool. So that's a decent test for Frank Martin, I guess. And then what else was on that undercard? Reis Alim against Mike Plania. Not sure that name rings a bell. Any thoughts on this one, Alex?
Reis Alim has been a guy that's been positioned to match up with Stephen Fulton for a little bit.
Okay.
Former black belt in karate or some sort as a teenager. He's a bit wide of a puncher. Didn't look so good last time I seen him. I can't remember what undercard it was. It might have been the Fulton Figueroa undercard. Seems like a tough guy. But other than that, I don't know really if he's going to be that top quality. His opponent, I know, has faced somebody of note, but I just can't recall off the top of my head.
Juan Carlos Payano.
There we go.
He lost to him. He lost to him in 2018. Filipino fighter. So he's had a bunch of wins since then, back in the Philippines and in the US.
Joshua Greer. If anyone remembers
Greer.
him, he used to have that pillow for sleepy time or something.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, and that was a legit win as well. Yeah, I do recall that.
That was a majority decision, but he had Greer down in rounds 1 and 6, so a couple of knockdowns in that one.
Yeah, majority decision. Yeah, that's home cooking type stuff right there.
Did you have any thoughts on the previous fight? Sorry, Josh. I don't think I've really on that
as far as Reis Alim, yeah, I think he's looked pretty solid in what I've seen. And he beat a guy in this area, Marcus Dreamcrusher Bates, who I've seen fight a number of times. I thought was pretty solid, but it was kind of short notice thing. So Alim, yeah, I think what's going to truly test him is maybe this matchup right here. We'll see how he looks if he's able to pull off this win, and maybe he gets one of those. Maybe he gets the title shot essentially. And I think from what I've seen from him thus far, it's just going to be a matter of we'll have to see how he adapts to that. Have to see him in there with another person regarded as an elite opponent, and I want to see if he can make any adjustments and things of that nature to become a world titleist.
Yeah, cool. I mean, it looks like it's just a card of three guys, 3 undefeated guys that should be getting past their opponents and then on to the next thing. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. You never know if there's any upsets on the cards, potentially. Okay. Also then, on the Saturday the 18th, I guess this is the big fight of that weekend, Artur Beterbiev against Joe Smith Jr. for the unified light heavyweight titles. Should be good. Obviously, Joe Smith Jr. is one of the top names in the division after Beterbiev and Bivol and maybe Ramirez as well. Maybe you'd put him at number 4. So, good matchup. How do you see this one going, Josh?
Well, I'm very excited for it. I really think that this might be the fight of the month here. So I think these are the two biggest punchers in the light heavyweight division, at least from what I've seen. And I think it's going to make for an explosive fight if it goes as we intend for it to go. But both of them very much live dog. I think the better boxer is Beterbiev, but certainly Joe Smith Jr., I mean, he has an eraser if he can land something huge. Beterbiev can punch himself, and I think both of them are, some two fighters that don't back down. So if all goes in accord, this should be an explosive fight, and and I don't see it going to full 12, but time will tell.
Absolutely. Alex, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, a little bit to carry from what Josh just mentioned. Both these guys can punch. Don't expect to see the final bell. I mean, who wins? I mean, that's a very hard question to answer. I guess looking at Beterbiev, when he's faced resistance, when he's faced some type of hardship in a fight, he's won. He's stopped the guy. He knocked him out. 17-0, 17 KOs. So I guess you would have to say Beterbiev is definitely the favorite. I mean, to pick a winner is extremely difficult. I think Joe Smith has been improving, but I would have to say Beterbiev is going to find the right shot. Also on the card, though, it's not listed on BoxRec. It's a good co-main event. It's going to be Robeisy Ramirez, Olympian, the one that defeated Shakur Stevenson, is going to be facing Abraham Nova, who, if you know, he's a Puerto Rican dude with that bleaches his beard, who's 21-0 and 15 KOs. And a lot of U.S. Olympians on there as well. Well, not a lot. I'm sorry. A lot of young talent. They have Troy Isley, the U.S. Olympian, Jaheed Tucker, and then Shushu Carrington, who's supposed to be one of the best prospects coming up.
Yeah, all those guys are super solid. Shout out to Troy Isley. Yeah, he's out of this DC area, Alexandria gym here. He's going to be on a high trajectory. But man, I didn't know about the Robeisy Ramirez Abraham Nova fight, but man, that's an excellent matchup. And from what I've seen from both of them, it's kind of 50-50 if you ask me. I like what Nova can do, and I think he's going to be on his game. And if he is, then he's going to really press Robeisy Ramirez, and we'll see how he reacts to it. But I know they have high hopes for Robeisy, so interesting matchup right there.
For sure.
Oh, good, man. And that also brings us to the end of the stream. I think that's all the fights upcoming covered. So thank you very much for your time again, fellas. It's been an enjoyable couple of hours, a really good fight to watch. And again, all your thoughts and insights into the fights that we've seen in the last few weeks and those fights that we just discussed. Thanks again for having you both. And we'll be back again in a couple of weeks' time, no doubt. Also, thanks to everyone that stopped by the stream and interacted and took part. And hopefully we'll see you again in the future. So, boys, I think if you want to do a shout out to other channels and places where people can connect with you, Josh, do you want to give a plug?
Yeah, thanks. Happy to be here again. As mentioned, of course, my channel 86 Boxing. So I'll be dropping some videos and things of that nature. I'm going to be doing a lot of old school stuff, working with Random Acoustic Thoughts. Shout out on a Grab video that's about to release here very soon. Then some Sam Langford stuff. But other than that, shout out to all the other ones who tuned in. Appreciate it. Rodolfo Rivera, etc. But thanks for having me on.
No problem, mate. Alex, where can people reach you, and anything else that you want to enlighten people about?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, the Vegameister, TheVegameister. I do love my podcast, The Boxing Voice. I do call in almost daily. Definitely check out 86 Boxing, his YouTube channel. He does wonderful work there with animations and also giving you a nice history lesson on some of the boxers that you may not know or ones that you know a bit of, but it's always nice to get a little more background information. Also, guys, if you're listening now, please, like, subscribe over here to the Fight Night Scores. Check out the website, fight-score.com. Definitely find a fight you want to watch, see the scorecards there. If not, do your own scorecards. Easy, fast, and it's always nice to use it as a reference when you want to talk about a fight.
Indeed, excellent. Thank you very much for that. All right, that's great. We'll bring this one to a close. It's been great as usual. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you again in the not too distant future.
Peace.